Good day, everybody. Welcome to Mind and Spirit, or as I put it wrongly in the first place, Mind and Spirit World, but it still works. Everything goes. But we're just really here to discuss things, all spiritual. Don't want any recipes or menus or anything like that. It's strictly a no-no, and that's why Brian was learning to knock people out of the room. It was, this week's topic is manifesting, but I think I'm going to have to change that a little bit, Raven, because, as I say, if you go to your thesaurus and get the definition of manifesting, it's actually things that you can see and others can see as well, and that's not what I want to go over. It's more to the point of conceptualizing things. You actually think them yourself, and that's what you base everything on. If you really think about the whole thing of spiritualism is everything is in your own mind. Okay, things may happen to you, but it isn't necessarily seen by other people. It's a very, very difficult subject. So the things that have happened to me through my life, only I know about them, and I know them to be true. And other people I've spoken to feel exactly the same way. It's a very beautiful subject, because by actually manifesting things in your own mind, it doesn't mean to say that other people can see it. As I say, they can't see it, but they have to take your word for it. But it's like most of the books, isn't it, Geoff? Most of the books you read are only people's definition, their own thoughts. There's no proof. There's no proof any time, and I think this is the beautiful part about
Brian, they might not see the process.
It's a process. It's an individual thing, isn't it?
They might not see the process, but they see the outcome of it.
Sometimes. As we say, it's a beautiful thing, and to be able to pick on something and make it materialize, that is the whole purpose of what things are with us today. If you want something bad enough and you really put yourself into thinking about it and making it so as it comes true. As Geoff said to me yesterday, it's no good hoping to win the lotto and you haven't even bought a ticket. You've got to make sure that you put things into place which allow them to form. Is this not right, Geoff?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, just a quick question for the room. How many of you saw The Secret? Which was the start of all the big manifestation stuff that went round. What did you think of it, Diane? Did you follow it and thought it was good? I'll tell you what I'm asking, because I had a bad reaction with somebody over it. It really brought home to me the errors that were in that presentation for people who don't understand. What happened was the secret says very clearly that your thoughts have energy, therefore your thoughts manifest. Okay? And that's not true. It is not true. Because we were discussing cancer in a room on Paltalk with my wife, who had cancer at the time. We were discussing it. This woman came in and listened, and she just finished watching The Secret, and she blew her top. And, you're manifesting cancer by talking about it. That's not true. Therefore, our thoughts do not make the energy work. It needs action from us to make it work. It's no good sitting back and thinking, shall I have pizza or shall I have Chinese for tea tonight? You can think it all night. You won't get anything unless you actually get off your bum and make a phone call or go out in your car and fetch it. So the thought itself doesn't do it. It's the action that you put behind it, the intent and the movement that you put behind it, makes it all work. That's the way I look at it anyway.
Mind you, many times in the past I've found that spirit has actually intervened in my life. Mainly it's always been to ensure my safety. The things that have happened to me were quite frightening at the time, but it was only after the fact that you realise it. And when it's happening, you've got no idea. But as I say, I was working on these, it's a 1,000-ton machine, plastic injection press, making parts for shoes, and a bell started ringing at the entrance of the building. There was no one there. I couldn't understand why it was going. I was running 7 machines all by myself. And I immediately thought, well, hang on, this may be spirit coming through to me, warning me that something may happen. Well, I shut off 3 of the machines and left 4 running automatically. When the next time I was in work, I started up each machine individually that I'd shut off. And as soon as I started up number 7, the gate, or the whole moving pattern shot forward. If I'd have opened the door and just put my hand in there, as I was doing all the time, it would have shot forward and crushed my arm. I know it was a warning. It's nothing that you can say to people, well, did you see that? Because nobody knows. But you realise afterwards that these things that happen to you are sometimes warnings, sometimes, well, that's how it's been with me all the time, sometimes it's just a result of what you're thinking. Is it manifestation? I don't think so. I think it's a direct link. There are many instances in my life that have done exactly the same thing, and I've got used to it now. If one of these thoughts does come up or something happens, I listen to it and think, right, let's do something about that before something nasty happens. But I don't know if anybody else in the room has found that sort of thing. Any replies?
No, I have. I've had things similar to what you have, but I've also had what I consider to be a proper manifestation. I'll talk to you about that. I was actually sitting in meditation one day, and Spirit said to me, you need to travel around and meet people in America. I thought, oh, this is good, So I sat down and I spoke to all the people that I knew on SOC, because we were then, a few others that I knew, I've known on Pal Talk and that. And I planned a trip around America, 9,500 miles I planned. And then I looked at my car and I thought, I'm only get 18 miles to the gallon. I can't afford to do this. I can't afford to go that far around, just would have killed me in fuel. So I said to Spirit, do you really want me to do this trip? I got a yes. So I said, well, you better do something to help me get a new car. And I left it at that. 3 weeks later, I had a wreck, broke my car off. So I said to Spirit, well, we've done half the job. We got rid of the old one. I've got $3,000. I've got $3,000 in the bank. I've got no credit rating whatsoever. How am I going to get another car? I clearly heard the words, look at Thursday. So I look at Thursday, look at Thursday, and I looked at the calendar and I actually added up the numbers for Thursday, and it was a 22. It's a power number. So I said to my stepdaughter, what are you doing Thursday? She said, nothing. Why? I said, well, I want you to take me around and get a car. I'm going to go and buy a car. No money, but about $3,000, but we're going to go and buy a car. And she said, well, ring up and make an appointment. So I did for this place. And I turned up at 9:15. I walked in and they wanted to show me all these cars. I said, no, let's sit down first. I've got $3,000. I've got no credit rating. I'm 60, whatever I was, 68 years old. I need a car. Looked at me and they said, well, we'll see what we can do. And at 4:30 that evening, I drove out with virtually a brand new car. So, that to me was a manifestation, because I put it out there that I needed to do it, and Spirit helped me to get to that point. They guided me as to what to do to get the car. And that car has been running with me ever since. It did the trip around America ever so easily. It was sort of 30-odd miles to a gallon, so it was good. So to me, that's manifestation, and that's proof that it works, for me anyway. Obviously, I can't prove to you what Spirit said to me.
100%. That's it. But this is it. It's all, well, I'll say all of it, most of it, other than the manifestation side, is it's all in your own mind, isn't it? All in your head. And trying to prove that to others sometimes can be very iffy. I know my sister just sort of puts her hand over her face and, she giggles. Yes, darling, that's proof. I'm a very analytical person. I mean, I tear a car or a sewing machine apart and I'll find out exactly what's wrong with it, and I'll rebuild it so as it's perfect. Now, that to me is the proof of my ability. If I was just to stand back and sort of put my hand in my forehead and say, well, I think it's, like a lot of mechanics do, that to me is totally wrong. But I'm being so analytical, I like to know why things are happening and where they're happening, and so many other parts about Spiritism. But I've never come across some 100% proof. I suppose I will do one day, and it won't be long before I pop my clogs, and I'll know for sure then. But
Diane, can I answer that one for you? I think there's a difference in my outlook anyway, between manifesting where we are consciously manifesting something and when we are just going with the flow, being led by Spirit. That's a slightly different thing. I don't think that's manifesting in the way we're looking at it tonight. It might be a type of manifestation, but it's not what we're talking about. We're talking about us consciously doing something and trying to make something happen, as opposed to being led by Spirit just on a daily basis, which we all do anyway. I agree, we do that every day. I get nudges from Spirit, and I just follow it without even thinking about it. So that's,
it
to me,
becomes second nature.
Yeah.
It does become second nature, and that's difficult at times. You've got to have that belief system there to start with. But, I'm pretty sure there must be a way that we can actually click into it. There's so many things going on at the moment. This lifting the veil, so to speak, that we can actually, or we should be able to actually get into it and do. There's so many people as well will not divulge what their abilities are. And I know there's 3 of them in this room that won't do it. They tend to sit back and just think about it for themselves. What it really needs is more people to be able to actually come forward and say, well, I can do this or I can do that. All the different aspects of spirituality, which eventually I think will bring us to the point where we can actually see things that are happening.
Message there, question there for you, Brian.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. If you're manifesting something in your own mind, that's one thing, because you can see it. If you was to, I like to call it conceptualize. You conceptualize something, or you really think about it and build it in your own mind. It's then you could immediately bring that up in front of you. That to me is 100% proof. I don't know whether gels with you, Diane, but many times people have said to me, I want to get out of this house. It's just, it's bad. It's this, that, and the other, and this landlord's a bit of a swine. A few days later, somebody comes up and says, yeah, look, there's a place around the corner to me, that is
Brian, we keep losing your voice again.
requirement. I'll sit closer. How's that? Yeah, it's, as I say, there's a lot in this manifestation thing. I've given it many, many hours of thought. I mean, the concept of being able to spiritualize or bring forward what you really want to people, so as they can actually see it for themselves and touch it. That is what I'm basically looking for. What life should be, and it wasn't working. All of a sudden something happened. My life turned over really 180 degrees, and I met Pauline, and from there everything changed. I mean, everything, not just a few bits. And that to me was the
Is it just me, or has everybody else lost Brian? I would say you manifested that, Diane, because you had the intent, you did the actions, and the outcome was what you wanted. And that's to me is the whole point. It's no good just having a thought and sitting back and waiting for spirit to do something for you. You have to look for the signs. You have to think about it. You have to take steps and things to do things. That's manifesting. It's not sitting back and waiting for somebody to give you something. It's getting it yourself, using spirit as a guide to help you. Is that what it is? Okay. Right, I'm not here. Hi, Shelby. Welcome to the room. Hi, guest. Can anybody hear me? Hello? Can anybody hear me? Hello? Can hear me. Good. Wings can. It's you we've lost, Brian. not even showing up on the list anymore. You had Brian-Clover, but you also had Intuitalks. You haven't got Intuitalks there anymore. That's a good one. Yeah, I've got him on cam, but no sound too. Anyway, I don't know what to do about Brian because I can't. I don't know enough about this. Okay, Brian. Has anybody else got any examples of manifestation they'd like to share? I bet you it's Mama D putting the jinx on you, Brian. You know, to me, it's very important that when we want something like that, you know, as you say, you put that positive energy out there that you definitely want to do it. I think it's individual for every person, Raven. You know, it's in my case, you know, I ask Spirit, what do you want me to do? You know, I'm sitting here, I've got no car. What am I supposed to do now? Wait for somebody to knock on the door and offer me a new car? It ain't going to happen. That's when they told me quite clearly, look at Thursday. That's what I did. I reacted to their instruction, ended up getting a car. Paid through the nose for it, but at the end of the day, it was all I could do, you know. I think being guided by Spirit is as I was saying earlier. I mean, I've had situations where I've been guided by Spirit. Can't speak. Can you hear me, guest? Oh, that's all you have to do in the room. Yeah, it's only the admins that are talking. And Mike. I was doing a Reiki healing group on a Wednesday night in a little town about one town over from where I lived, and we finished about 9 o'clock, and I was on my way home. And I stopped at traffic lights by a major highway. The lights turned green for me. I just sat there. I thought, why am I sitting here? Why aren't I pulling forward? As soon as I thought that, a truck came through the red light. And if I'd have pulled forward like I usually did, flat chat, this truck would have just bowled straight over the top of me. As soon as the truck had gone through, I was able to move and move my car again. So Spirit definitely stepped in there to protect me. But I don't think that's manifestation as such. To me, manifestation is having an idea of what I want and then making it happen with Spirit's help. Well, that's what Brian was talking about earlier. He was working on a machine. He heard a bell ring at the front door. There was nobody there. He could see there was nobody there. And he switched off the machine. And the next morning when he came in to look at the machine, as soon as he turned it on, something went wrong with it. And he would have lost his hand if he'd carried on doing what he was doing. So Spirit does help you and guide you and protect you in that sort of way. But I don't think, in my opinion, that that's manifestation. That's just Spirit being Spirit, because that's what they do after us. Yeah, but it's, as you say, it's you have to do something. It's no good just sitting there and saying, oh, I want that, and then sitting and waiting for it to turn up on your doorstep. You've got to go somewhere. You might be guided to go somewhere. It's having the confidence to believe that it's going to happen and look for the opportunities. And once you see the opportunities, don't be afraid to step forward and take it. That's what's going to guide you to the right spot. No, it's just that I'm always amazed every time it happens for me. I sit there gobsmacked, you know. But it's just there's no end to what Spirit can do for you if you truly trust and believe in them. That's what it's the hardest thing for a lot of people to do. That's what I think, anyway. I think, see, mind control causes people to panic. You know, they think of, somebody's going to put thoughts into your head and that you've got no control over it and all that sort of stuff. And that's not what we're talking about. Mind control is controlling your own mind. Do what you need to do. And if you do that, that's when Spirit can come through and talk to you and give you information. No other way to do it, is there? Yes. Ditch, I've had that situation. When Kay, my wife, was diagnosed with cancer, went home and we sat down in the lounge room and we were all both of us very depressed. I said, right, let's be positive about this. We're going to start a healing regime. I'm a Reiki Seishin master. I work with people on healing. So let's see what we can do. As soon as I started to try and work on her, I was shown very clearly a very thick brick wall in front of me. Get to her. Spirit said to me, no, you're not going to work on her. And I knew that. I knew from that moment on she was going to die. So I was going to manifest the healing, fight it with her, by working with her with the Reiki and stuff. But I wasn't allowed to. Spirit stepped in and said, no. I knew. Broke my heart, but nothing I could do about it, The only time I was able to work on her was when the day that the doctor said to her, there's nothing more we can do for you, Mrs. Loneragan, we're putting you on hospice. And that night I was allowed, I went to her and I went to work on her, just checking, making sure, and the wall had gone. It was too late by then. What I could do, though, is help her to pass over peacefully. That's what I did. So, Spirit does work with you for and against sometimes. You got to do what you got to do, haven't you? And I think that's the other thing is that, I could sit here and say, I want to win the lotto. I want to win first prize of a lotto, and I can go and buy tickets every week. Does it mean I'm going to win? No. Because maybe it's not in my path to win lotto. So there are things that you may wish for and try to manifest that won't come to you because you're not meant to have that. Reason why you're not meant to have it. Now you might not know what the reason is, but that's what will happen. Yeah, we try and then we get rejected. Then we sit back and go, I wanted that. I mean, I don't want a lot, 10, 15 million will do me. I'm not greedy. Thanks, Laurie. Good to see you, love. How you doing? So to me, the manifestation process is that you have an idea of what you would like. So you put it out there. Then you look for the signs. You look for the guidance coming from Spirit as to what to do and when to do it. Then you take those steps. if you don't do that, then you ain't going to win. Oh, aren't she here, Jenny? Any ideas? Do you click on... you don't need to, do you? Not on here. You don't need to click on anything to be able to hear, do you? You've got to select listen. Oh, and then anyway. He lost sound. He couldn't speak. So he went to reboot. Oh, well, that's Brian. I'm going to kill this damn fly in a minute if it doesn't get off my screen. Get out of it. Well, I'm trying to talk, but I'm not getting any questions or anything. So my co-host is not here. He's on to reboot. Back shortly. So has anybody else got any ways that they've manifested and results that they've had? I'd like to share. Hang on just a second. Andy, will you stop that noise? Bloody dogs. Oh, yeah. Well, if you're trying to manifest something that's not good for somebody, then yes, it's not a good thing to do. And I don't know if spirit would actually allow you to do that. At least not on the positive side. I have trouble understanding the negative side, so. But you can certainly you can think horrible thoughts about somebody, and that energy can go to them, and they can feel it, know that you're doing it. I have seen the results of that. I was talking to a lady from Austria. She told me she'd had an argument with her boyfriend. She felt this very strong, bad energy around her, but she couldn't really describe it. It was bad energy, she said. I said, well, let me have a look at you and see what I can see. And what I was shown was her in a circular cage. It was a half man, half beast walking round the cage, snarling and snapping at it, drooling like a big fangs, yucky, horrible monster it was. And I just walked up to it and said, what are you doing here? You're not meant to be here. Go back where you came from. He turned and snarled and snapped at me, but he slunk away. And as I said, as he slunk away, she said to me on the computer, wow, the energy just left me. I feel much better. Now, do I believe that was a real monster? No. It was just spirit showing me something that I would recognize as being not good, and therefore I knew to send it away, send it packing where it came from. So that's the way I look at things, Yeah, words don't just do anything. It's got to be actions. It's got to have an intent, which is you say your emotions, and actions to make things happen. Just the interest seems to sometimes bad. Well, I don't. I'm one of these people that I work in the light. I know there's negative people out there. I don't believe in demons and all that sort of stuff in my belief system. Okay, this is purely my belief system. I'm not saying that it's anybody else's or should be anybody else's. The way I think of things. I don't believe that there are demons and things out there. Okay, I think there is an energy source out there, which we call God or Spirit or whatever else you want to call it. Okay? Now, an energy source is neither good nor bad. It's just purely energy. The story. And it's what we choose to do with that energy that makes it bad. It's like, think of a power socket in your house. If you plug in a tool to make something for somebody, it's good. But if you plug in an instrument to hurt somebody, then it's bad. The energy doesn't change. The energy is just the energy. It's your intent that's negative or positive. Okay? So that's the way I think about things. So when it comes to manifestation, I'm only thinking positive. I don't think negative. No, I don't want to hurt anybody. I have no intention of hurting anybody. So why would I want to think bad things? So, it just depends on your mind frame and the way you do things. Now, other people would disagree with me, and I accept that. Their view is that there are angels and demons. But to me, the equal and opposite is a human trait, not a spiritual trait. Human thing. If we see good, then there must be bad. And that's the way we think, that's the way we're programmed. But, as I said, that's only my viewpoint, and I'm happy to share it with you. And if it works for you, use it. If it doesn't, then by all means put it to one side. Answer that one, Raven. I know you control me all the time. So yeah, that's my view on that. So if you feel there's something negative going on, look at what you're doing and the way you're doing it. And ask yourself, am I doing this the right way? I can see a smacked bottom in your knee. Yeah, it's to me, it's all about us. If I do things that are bad, then yes, there is going to be a bad outcome. If I do things that are good, there's going to be a good outcome. It's all about me. So I look at me and say, what do I need to do to be the best person that I can in this lifetime? So that's the way I look at it. You two shush. I'm trying to focus here. Yes, well, you are actually, what you're doing when you're doing Reiki is you're providing the energy to the person for them to heal themselves. So you are manifesting that healing for them by passing the energy to them. So you're the link in the chain Spirit uses. So it's part of the manifestation process. And I think, you can manifest things in all sorts of ways like that, bring good to people. When you sit down and pray for a person, isn't that a manifestation? You know, you're not just the idea, you're actually putting an intent behind it. Okay? So that's a good way. Your action is to actually stop and think about that person, isn't it? The act of praying for them, yes, or the act of sending healing to them. I mean, what we do when we, in Pal Talk, when we do our healing sessions on Thursdays and Fridays, then that is a manifestation action, isn't it?
Hi, Jeff.
Are you back? Good to see you, Brian.
I'm back. I was trying to go through Skype and Skype dumped on me, and God knows why, but I've not been able to get back on there since. So it's a bit of a worry, but never mind. I'll sort it out afterwards. But all we can do is just keep on going as we are.
The difference is Niche. The difference is that it's not in your hands. Well, they're both the same in that there's nothing in your hands. Okay. By putting yourself out there to do good for others is a manifestation. Doing good for yourself is not a manifestation in that sense. No, I mean, just to win money is not a good thing anyway. So they keep telling me, the bastards.
You never will learn.
I know, but you know, there might be fine lines there. I don't really know, but when I'm healing, I'm actually sending that pure love to these people. I send it to everybody in the world. I don't mess around.
Yeah, but by concentrated effort, I think, as you said once before, you know, you went to that lady and sewed up her inside, wherever it was, or rolled it up. I think that concentrated thought is the most powerful.
But the thing is, Niche, as I said right from square one, I don't know if you heard this bit, there are times when we ask for things that we are not going to get because it's not in our life path to have that. Winning the lottery is obviously not in my life path, at least not at the moment. Hoping for the future, but you never know. So you can keep trying by all means. I mean, keep on your tickets. You never know. You might get lucky one day.
Oh. Even here in Australia, they reckon it's 1.8 million to 1 that you're going to win anything on Crossover. So a lot of chance. We'll do it.
Well, you know, if I wasn't meant to have a new car, Mitch, then my manifestation wouldn't have happened. Obviously, I was meant to have the new car because Spirit wanted me to do that trip. So it was in my life path for that to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not meant to win the lotto. I buy tickets every week, or nearly every week, and I've never ever won stuff. Well, I get $1 here and $1 there.
That's it.
About it, you know. So it's not in my life path to have it. I can still try and manifest it, but it doesn't mean that I'll succeed.
That's very true. I'm much the same, really, Jeff. I've tried all different things. Sometimes, well, right out of the blue, something will come up and you'll win a bit, and you think to yourself, well, where did that come from? You know, I think it was just pure chance, luck, what you want to call it. Yeah, it's actually it's a very difficult way to look at it. The thought of itself is manifesting, yeah.
The thought is the manifestation. That's where you start to manifest it. You get the thought and you take the action. And whether or not it occurs is another, as you say, another side of it. But the thought you start is the starting point. You think to yourself, shall I have Chinese tonight or shall I have pizza? And then you make a decision and you go and you ring up and get it delivered or whatever, or you go and fetch it. So there's an action involved to make it happen. The lottery ticket, you can manifest it by saying, I want to win the lottery and buy a ticket, but then the odds are against you.
That's for sure. Been here for a long while as well.
Where is manifestation of thought? Hope for, say, a new car, I thought.
Yeah.
When you're doing a prayer, all right, your idea, if I'm sitting here and I think, oh, Nish isn't feeling too good today, I feel her energy's down. So that's my thought. I then make an action and I send you healing. Okay? With the hope of manifesting good health for you. Whether you accept that healing or not, I have no control over. Whether Spirit says you can accept it or not, I have no control over. But I can go through the process. I can have the thought, I can go through to the action and send you that energy. Okay? That's as far as I can go then. I can't do anything else. So it's a two-step process at least. You have the thought, you have an action or an intent. My intent is to send you healing. Whether you receive that healing or not is a separate thing. But it actually manifests with you is a different, depending on the situation. Does that make sense now, all right?
It makes more sense than what I was talking about, I'll tell you. No, it's
I've been talking for half an hour. Get back on that bloody mic.
It is, but no, as I say, I put Skype on purely because it's far better, or far more widespread service. And all of a sudden it dropped out halfway through. I can't get back into it again all the time I'm logged onto this page. So,
okay.
Never mind. Shit happens. But, you know my reply to that one.
Take care, Wings. Give Dave a hug for me.
Yeah, blessings, Wings. No, it's a really complex subject when you start really looking into it, but never ever managing to really manifest anything in your own particular way that you think it is quite a different thing, isn't it? My poor lady, she's so cold, sitting there wrapping herself up. No, it's something I've been working on in my own mind. How things should happen and how to make things happen. It doesn't always work. Very rarely, in fact. But on the other hand, you've got to keep trying. And as I said to you, once we find out everybody else's abilities, then perhaps we'll come across someone who can, and then they can explain how it happens to them.
Just going back to the lotto thing, if I buy a ticket today, tomorrow, Spirit has planned for me to win it on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I ain't going to win it today or tomorrow, am I? And if I don't buy a ticket Tuesday or Wednesday, I miss out altogether. So, there's a lot of hit and miss in this.
Oh, there is, but there again, with Spirit, I mean, they'd have it all planned out anyway, and you can't sort of pre-think them. And this is, our intelligence is so low in comparison that you do feel as though at times you're sort of behind the eight ball all the time. I don't know, just keep on trying, I suppose. That's all you can do.
Exactly. Now, I got down in the dumps about my situation here a while back, and then I thought, well, what's the point? Why get upset about it? Nothing's going to change, so let's make the best of it and get on with my life, So that's what I'm doing,
Yeah, blessings, darling.
Broke.
That situation normal, isn't it, being a pensioner? Yeah, good night, darling. Take it easy, sweetie. Now, there's so much more that we don't know, Geoff. As I said to you some time ago, it's your intuitive band on your foot, it's like third eye, for want of a better word, where you pick up all this stuff. Who's to say there's only, a couple of portals there that you can go to? There could be hundreds. that you could open up. We we know nothing about as yet. That could be one of them.
Absolutely. So I mean, it's a take each day as it comes and do the best you can. If there's something you really, really want, by all means put it out there. But look for the signs, look for the clues, because that's what will happen. It won't, when I wanted a new car, nobody came and knocked on my door and said, "Here, Jeff, here's that new car you were asking for." I had to look for the signs and, make the moves myself. And that's what you have to do, no matter what you're asking for.
I don't know, I rarely come up against anything like that, to be honest, because I try and run my life as the things that come up, not necessarily the things that I want. I've always been very wary of asking for too much. I live my life by the fact of take what you need, not what you want. Consequently, it's only when I need stuff that it suddenly, appears before me.
That to me, when you said, you told me the other day that, your wife would say, "Oh, I need more money," and you say, "Okay, I'll get a job." Now, that's your thought. Your action was that you went and cleaned your tools and got them all ready, and the result was that next day somebody knocked on your door saying, "Well, Brian, you're free. I need you to do a job for me." That's manifestation.
Yeah, it wasn't the next day, Jeff. I can guarantee. I was actually cleaning the tools when the knocks came, and this happened for week after week after week, no problem at all. And because I could never understand it, because I was, sort of at the time, being young. I mean, I was only in my early 20s, and I thought, well, this is so strange. Why is it happening? How come? Am I drawing people in like a magnet? And so all those sorts of, compound together, don't they? Really blow you apart. No, it's but there's so many facets, isn't it? That's where it comes from. Because not knowing the full story, we tend to try and guess a lot. And I think this is where, to me, it all goes wrong.
Sorry, I think you spelt that wrong. Soup is S-O-U-P, all right? That's about all you're going to get if you manifest it. It's a saga of a chicken coop. It took them months to build the damn thing, and then she set it on fire and burned it down, and they got to start all over again.
What the hell would she do that for?
Well, she put a heater in it because it was cold for the poor little chickens.
Oh no!
It's been a year-long saga, this bloody chicken coop. I tell you.
You're not going to live this one down, Raven.
That's why I said the soup would be better, because the chickens were already cooked,
100%. That's quite a choker for you, really, isn't it, Raven? How many chickens did you lose? No answer came the stern reply.
She's got a type. She's not very quick.
I think she's not very quick.
One with no comb, one missing toes, and a couple of them were dead.
That's not really a good thing.
Day for roast chicken, though.
Yeah, great. Well,
she lost 11 in the fire.
Hell.
But the freezer was full that night.
That was one of the crafty things when I got rid of all my chooks. They were getting beyond egg laying stage, so I thought, right, I'll clear that lot out and get some new ones. Anyway, my middle daughter at the time was, I think she was 13, and she had very small hands. So I said, oh, this is great. This is what you do, Sharon. You put your hand up inside, clean all the yuck out from the inside. I don't like doing that, Dad. Guess what? Anyway, so we had a freezer full of chickens. And she's never quite forgiven me for that, I think. Yeah, it's really weird. No, but as I say, the chooks are lovely. I had a border collie, and our rooster kept on getting out over the fence. Anyway, I came home one day, and there's the rooster standing up against the fence, not even moving. And I thought to myself, hello, he's just scared stiff, And he said, no way, mate, he was as dead as a donut. The border collie had chased him around that much, I think he just wore himself out and had a heart attack. Because then I didn't get any more chooks after that, because I couldn't make any more eggs.
I think so. I think so, Diane, yes.
Yes, definitely. The thing is, I mean, that book I was reading on, mind control, Jose Silva's one, in there it says that, if you go down to your level, which is, my level's pretty low, you can actually envisage yourself going inside of a peach, going inside a banana, an apple, anything else like that. And then eventually you get around to actually being able to go inside living beings, whether it be animals or people. And that is a form of manifestation, but it's only a manifestation for you. But the truth comes out because, as a friend of mine told me, her partner in this class was given a piece of paper with a name on it. He went there and said 3 things wrong with the guy. It's his lungs, it's his left shoulder, and his left ankle hurts. Well, Jose Silva said at the time, hang on, I've only got the first 2. The third one, he said, I've not got that written down, but the bloke only lives locally. He said, I'll phone him and find out. And when he spoke to the guy on the telephone, the bloke said, well, yeah. He said, I do, on my left foot. He said, I broke my ankle when I was 2 years old. He said, and I get the pain every year when winter comes in. Now, that is proof of being able to manifest something in your own mind. And that's about the nearest I could ever come to it.
Diane, I don't know if you've heard this story, but I'm a Reiki station healer. Brian touched on it earlier. I was in Australia, and as a friend of mine was in Canada. She came online about 2 o'clock in her morning. It was daytime for us. And I messaged her and said, what are you doing up? You should be in bed asleep. She said, I can't sleep, I'm in pain. I said, well, what's up with her? She's got tears in her uterus. Charming, Well, I said, I can try and send you some healing if you'd like me to. And she said, yes, please. And I went into what I call my healing mode, which is like going into a meditation. I go deep within myself. I start working on this person. The next thing I knew, I was inside her body. I could see the tears. And I was using my fingers and thumb to laser up these cuts inside her body. I could see them, and I was lasering them up. And then I came back to my chair, and I came out of it, and I said, well, I don't know if I've helped you, but I've done what I can. And she said, I could feel you working inside me, Geoff. She said, I'm going to lay down now and see how I can sleep. And she slept solid for 12 hours. Now, I didn't know about that. I've never done anything like that before. I was led by spirit to do it. But it's all part of the process of manifesting the health of that person, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
No? So to me, when we're talking about going down, we're talking about going into a meditative state. You can go in a light state and a heavier state. Well, Reiki healing does not take you inside somebody's body and laser up cuts, does it? Reiki healing is laying your hands on them and doing it up and down the body, which is different. So it was a different thing for me. It was not something I'd done before. I was shocked that I could even do that because I didn't know I could do it. But their spirit took me there. So what I was trying to get at is your question about meditation, going down. when we're talking about going down, what we're talking about is going in from our our awake state into a meditative state. And there's you go into. The deeper you go, the more spiritual ability you have. So you're taking away all the human side of you and going back down into the basic spiritual side of you.
We're told as children, you can't do this and you can't do that, and that's a load of rubbish. And as I say, if you go to a child early enough and start teaching them, and meditation start with, you can move on from there, and their life will be completely different to ours. No, it's a beautiful thing.
Anyway, it's our time, folks, so we need to close up, Brian.
Yes, we will have to. I'd like to thank everybody for coming into the room. Everybody's disappeared. A lot of. But,
everybody?
Well, not everybody, but some. No, thank you very much. I'm sorry it's been a bit of a mismatch for me, but I'm afraid I've got to learn, same as everybody else. But
yep.
I'll
it's
go on.
It's good of you all to come in to see us, and thanks for the questions and your inputs. We don't want this to be a Brian and Geoff talk show.
No.
We want you guys to be part of the show and put your stuff into it.
This will be an everybody thing. But no, it's been really good. No, we're running slightly over time, but I'm sure Jenny doesn't mind. But no, anyway, next week we'll have to get together and decide what next week's challenge will be, Geoff.
Well,
we'll try and find something to get everybody in on. I think this will be the secret for next week. So.
Yes, we could.
Okay, Laurie.
Take care, everybody.
Yes, everybody, thank you very much, and blessings to all. Bye.